Tony Dungy joining us in the Man Cave in New York City. There's just certain coaches who change the entire game. How you feel, how your team feels, how the opposition feels, that opposing coach. Phil Jackson's one of those guys. When he walks in the building, you know he's bringing with the possibility of winning a championship.
Absolutely. And if you say, hey, I can get Bill Belichick or Coach B, and you said, no, I really love Coach B. He was our guy.
Yeah,
no, you want Belichick. You want Jackson if you get a chance to get him.
But when you go against these guys, when you went against Belichick, do you sometimes think too much because you're thinking about what he's
You
thinking?
absolutely do. Outthink yourself, and we've got to do this, and we've got to do more, and that's what those guys bring.
I know that you're sporting your Oregon Duck green
yes.
today. So now you're feeling pretty good about the Oregon Ducks playing for the national title.
Well, up until
better.
Yeah, better, because now they can control it. They win their games, and they'll be at least number 2. And that was always the concern. You could go 12-0, but not get a chance at the national title. So we were watching that Alabama game.
I was telling the Danettes that they might be surprised where Johnny Manziel, the A&M quarterback, was going to go before a late decision to go to Texas A&M.
Yeah, he had verbally committed to Oregon. Loved the style of offense. Chip Kelly loved him. Also
as a quarterback.
As a quarterback, and loved Mariota. Wanted to have them both there. And then Texas A&M, I think, late offered him, and he wanted to stay closer to home. But he was headed to Oregon.
He's pretty good.
Very good.
You know who it reminds me of?
Robert Griffin.
Yeah, Robert Griffin III. Yeah, I wanted to make a comparison that wasn't going to be race-related where I have to compare him to a white quarterback because I don't remember a white quarterback like that. He's just electric, and you saw that with Robert Griffin III as well. Similar in the play breaks down, that's when they're at their best.
And the thing all these guys do, Griffin, Mariota, Manziel, their team has confidence. Hey, if we have the ball, doesn't matter if it's 4th and 20, if we're down 8, whatever, if this guy has the ball, he can win the game for us.
All right, let's run through a couple of games. By the way, you had members of the Rams and 49ers who did not know overtime. Okay, what role is it for the coach to say, guys, just so you know as we start overtime, here's a refresher here? Do you have a team huddle, or should you even have to do that?
No, you go over that in training camp for the new guys. Here's the rules in the NFL. It's different than college. Here's what happens here. You have to have 2 feet in when you catch a ball here. You only have to have 1 foot in college. Overtime is played like this.
But this is Amendola, who's a veteran.
I understand, Dan. I don't know what some of these guys think, but as a coach, you do that every year.
The Texans last night showed that they can play Bear-style football or this NFC-style football, because we usually look at the AFC, they're not as physical. At least that was always the label on them. But what did you see from the Texans and the Bears last night?
Well, they are very, very physical. They're physical on offense. They pounded at you. They run Arian Foster. They've got a great defensive front. They line up and play man-to-man, bump and run coverage. They're a complete football team. Now, they couldn't handle Green Bay. That was the one game that they looked out of place, but they're the best team in the AFC, and they're going to be tough to handle at home.
But what about the Bears? I know you can say weather, but both teams had to play there. You had the concussion with Cutler.
The Bears, they win with defense. They win with takeaways. And if you can take care of the football, you can handle the Bears, but it's easier said than done. We played them in Super Bowl 41. 2 weeks I preached about hanging on to the ball. We turned it over the 3rd play of the game. So it happens. But if you can not turn the ball over and stay patient, which Houston did. Gary Kubiak was very content to win a 13-6, 13-7 game. He didn't try to blow it open. When they weren't scoring touchdowns, he didn't panic. They ran the ball, played defense, and felt they could win that style of game, and they did it.
You said it at halftime. You said most coaches would go in and go, we only have 10 points here. And you said, Gary Kubiak's going to say, I can win this game. If we score 13 points, I don't care. We win this game. So you said that as we went to halftime.
And that's where Gary is different than a lot of offensive coaches. He realizes the strength of his team. He's not in it about ego. We don't have to put up 40 points to show that I'm a genius. I know how to win. I've got a great defense. Our defense is playing well. Let's just win the game and not worry about how the style points.
He's Tony Dungy from Football Night in America joining us in studio. Falcons lose. You have been preaching this with the Falcons, that the flaws are you have to run the football. Matt Ryan threw for over 400 yards. They had no running game. and the Saints taking advantage of that ended up, squeezing out the win here.
Matt Ryan is a great player, great quarterback. He's got a lot of weapons. They went and got Julio Jones, gave up a lot of their draft to get him. They've got great wide receivers, a Hall of Fame tight end. But there are going to come times when you have to stop the run and you have to be able to run the ball. You have to make a yard to win the game. And that's what I don't see in Atlanta. And it may not show up. They may get through it, but just like last night, it can happen in the playoffs. It can happen in the first round. And if you don't have confidence that you can make a yard when you have to, you're putting it all on Matt Ryan. And I don't think you can just do that week in and week out, no matter who you have at quarterback.
I ask you, speaking of quarterbacks, I ask you and Rodney this, would Mark Sanchez start for any other NFL team?
He could. There's a lot of quarterbacking that's who you have around you and how the team is playing. I don't think their team is playing that well. Mark Sanchez got them to some championship games, but he's got to have everything in place. And right now, they don't have that.
But we said this at their bye week. Now is when you can make a decision to go to Tim Tebow. But I'm trying to look at this to be fair to the situation. It's not all on Mark Sanchez. They're obsessed with Tim Tebow for some reason. Either play him or take him out of the equation here.
But here, same thing happened in Denver last year. Denver did not have a complete team. They weren't winning games. They weren't going to win the way they were going. No guarantee they were going to win with Tebow, but they took a chance, and it sparked them. The Jets are not going to win the way they're going. They have too many flaws in the whole team. Mark Sanchez can't carry them. He can't make up for all the flaws. I don't know that Tebow can, but I would have tried it at the bye week, changed my offense. Let's do what Tim does, see if he can spark us like he did Denver. Otherwise, why would you have gotten him? You got him for exactly this situation. If things don't go well, we can make a change and make it work, but they didn't do it.
You got the Nick Foles situation in Philadelphia, Vick with the concussion. Let's say both are healthy.
Yeah, I think Philly, I don't see how they can make a run now. You're going to need to win 10 games in the NFC. If they're both healthy, you probably go back to Vick and see if you can win it. I just think they had to win last night.
But do you think that if one goes, the other one's going, that Andy is –
I think they're both going at this point.
They're both
no matter
gone?
What.
Yeah, you think Andy Reid's done? Yeah. And Vick won't be the starter?
No, I think new coach comes in and tries to build and start over just like the Colts did with Andrew Luck.
Now, you're wearing that sort of eagle green, so you're not –
I like the Eagles. I like Michael, but I thought they had to win last night. If they won last night, I thought they had a chance. Dallas, to me, has a little bit of a chance. Now, they're going to have to go on a run, maybe win 6 out of 7. But I thought the winner of last night had a chance and the loser was dead.
But you haven't been contacted by the Eagles, right?
No.
You have not?
No, I haven't.
What if Vick called and said, would you come in and coach if Andy leaves?
No.
You would not?
I would not.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I have to check with you every week.
Dude, you're trying to give me a coaching job.
No. I know you can have a few of them. What if Chip Kelly left Oregon?
I still couldn't leave you in Sunday Night Football.
I would let you go if I knew it made you happy.
No, it wouldn't.
That was a long pause.
It was a long pause, but no.
Is that the only coach?
No, there's no job I would go for.
But that one sounds like it would intrigue you.
No.
You sure?
Positive.
I hear yes in there.
You're trying to make it a yes.
Well, wait a minute. You paused.
Pause doesn't mean yes.
Yes.
No, pause doesn't mean yes.
It means sort of.
It means, but that's an interesting one. I hadn't heard that one before, so I had to process it. And
Can
then
I at least
no.
start the rumor?
No, don't do that.
Okay, don't do
Please
that.
Don't.
Okay, all right.
But I want Chip I need Chip to stay 2 more years.
Oh, for your son?
Yes.
You don't want to coach your son?
No.
No. Could you imagine?
No.
Eric saying, Dad, I need the ball. I need more touches.
It would happen, too.
Well, it's always good to see you.
All right.
We appreciate you coming by. The great Tony Dungy joining us from Football Night in America. By the way, coming up next Sunday night on Football Night in America, Steelers-Ravens.
Huge. And believe it or not, as great as these quarterbacks are playing, the team that runs the ball the best is going to win.
I wanted to ask you this before we depart. If I said who is more dangerous right now, who's the better team, Saints or the Cowboys, who both won yesterday in big games? Who's better right now?
I think the Saints are more dangerous. I don't know who's better, but I would rather go to Dallas and play the Cowboys in a playoff game than go to the Saints and play Drew Brees. I think Brees always gives you a chance to win.
Once again, don't read into the pause that Tony had when I asked him the question. He was merely stunned by it. That's all. That's
stunned.
all. I'll bring that back later, and I'm sure the folks in Oregon are going to love that. Chip Kelly's going to love that. Tony did what? He paused, Coach. Something his offense does not do. Tony, good to see you again.